Hello, Mr. Cove here, and today I have a different kind of video for you guys. It's October now, and I love me some horror, so let's start the month off with some actual terrifying things before we move on to some more fun horror topics. The other day I was watching an interview with an AI expert. At the end, he states that he thinks someone born today is more likely to be killed by AI than to finish high school. So I wanted to do a video kind of discussing that and other possible ways that humanity could end, and then also if we had to, which ways we think would be the best or worst ways to go for various reasons. So I've picked out 5 events that could potentially be the end of us all, and I'm going to discuss them in the likelihood that I think they could happen. So at number 5, I have aliens wiping us out. Now I'm an aliens fan. I'm open to them being out there and even already here or here previously. I've watched my share of Ancient Aliens, and I definitely don't think we're alone in the universe. Nevertheless, I think this is an least likely scenario on my list. We've had unexplained mass drone sightings for the past few years, and some of these have been quite disruptive, and alien origin is a possible explanation for these, but more likely it was just us. We've also had whistleblowers and congressional testimony talking about aliens recently, but none of these things have panned out as cold hard facts. So with that said, it's unclear if we've ever actually had any contact with aliens or if they've ever been here. So either we've never had aliens here before and we don't know if or where they exist, and therefore unlikely for that to change anytime soon, or they have been here and yet we're all still alive. Even if they do still exist, it's not a foregone conclusion that they'd be making contact with Earth to take it over. We'd have to represent some threat to them, which we wouldn't be if they had the technology to get here from who knows where, or they need something from this planet, and it's unlikely we're the closest planet that has anything they need or a suitable habitat for said aliens. So that's why I'm putting it last on this list here. On to number 4, and that would be a meteor or comet hitting Earth. The last one to hit Earth was big enough to cause an extinction level event about 65 million years ago. Something that big is estimated to only hit around every 100 to 500 million years. So math's on our side on this one. However, I don't think we'd be stopping it if we found out one was headed our way. In order for a DART-like intercept to work, which we tested recently, we'd need a heads up of years in advance in order for that to save us. If we found out something was hitting in days or weeks, we'd have no time to do anything about it. So this is lower on the list because of how unlikely this is to happen anytime soon, as opposed to us actually being able to do anything about it. Now, number 3, I have a pandemic. Obviously, we just had one of these, kind of. It's hard to judge COVID's mortality rate because it varies quite a bit depending on region. Here in the US, you could have a heart attack or a gunshot wound, and if you tested positive for COVID, it was counted as a COVID death. But let's say at worst, it was around 2% mortality rate, which I think is an extremely high estimate, but whatever, let's go with that. 2% might wipe out a great amount of people, but it isn't going to end humanity, right? There's this great scene at the beginning of The Last of Us, where we have a couple scientists shown on like a 60s type talk show. They're discussing viruses and basically how dangerous they are. One of them talks about how humanity has had wars with viruses for many, many years, and while sometimes it's devastating, we always end up winning. Viruses naturally don't want to kill humanity. They want to spread. COVID's original, more virulent version gave way to mutations that favored much less virulent ones, and this is how viruses normally operate in nature. If a virus is killing you or almost killing you, it's much harder to spread. The virus that still lets you go to work or school or whatever and cough on people is much more successful, and these strains end up being the dominant mutations. So viruses naturally become less virulent over time in nature. Viruses like Ebola that have very high mortality rates are very hard to spread, or ones like rabies, which is essentially 100% fatal. But again, that's all nature. We haven't learned much from COVID other than that we're less likely to listen to authorities or tolerate being locked down, again, if another pandemic rises. And we've also learned that maybe gain of function's potential benefits don't outweigh the risk. So there is a possibility that we make something that is as virulent as rabies, but spreads like measles. A virus with a longer infectious time would help too, something you can pass along before you realize you even have it. You're spreading it for days and feel fine. Since we're making ourselves We can have it be airborne, bloodborne, can go in our food and water. And it can be other animals too, not just humans. We can have it infect all kinds of mammals. And then by the time you're symptomatic, you could be hours from death. Is this virus going to naturally appear? No. Does that mean it isn't going to show up a couple miles out of a lab someday though? Nope either. Still, it's third on this list because outside of rabies, nothing would wipe out humanity even if literally everyone caught it. Let's hope our next oops is just a bad flu again. So for number 2, we have a favorite for the past 80 years, and that's nuclear holocaust. The good news is that we've gone 80 years without this happening yet, so good on us. The bad news is that on any given day, it's still a possibility. There was an estimated 70,000 nuclear weapons during the height of the Cold War, and now it's estimated that there are only about 12,000. This sounds like good news, but it's still multiple times more than is needed to end humanity, unfortunately. With the global economy continuing to move in a more top-heavy shifted way to the point where we're nearing the Gilded Age levels of wealth inequality, the average person's quality of life continues to get worse. This in turn makes more radical leaders more appealing to populations looking for a change. With more radical leaders, the possibility of things going wrong goes up. The current geopolitical tensions between the great powers of the world aren't making this feel like an afterthought either. So unfortunately, this one is still on the table and probably won't be coming off anytime soon. As always, let's hope cooler heads prevail with this one. Then we already spoiled number 1, and that is, of course, AI. Despite having many great movies warning us of this inevitable outcome, we forge ahead anyways. Elon Musk has publicly said that he thinks there's about a 10 to 20% chance of AI killing humanity. Even with that said, he's still pursuing it. And this is the real problem here. It's existential in 2 different ways. Whoever gets super AI first has a chance to completely dominate the world, so there's a race for everyone to get there. But then it's also highly unlikely that it's highly likely that this also can destroy humanity. The problem is that this is seen as inevitable to everyone involved, so they may as well get in on it. If it's going to happen anyway, they may as well be the one that creates it first and then reaps all the benefits of what being first means. There's no personal responsibility equated to any of this because everyone feels like it'll be done either way, with or without them. So why stop? The normal safeguards applied to a new dangerous technology are non-existent as well because this is a race. While the Manhattan Project was going on, the scientists working on the project thought that they might ignite the atmosphere and destroy the planet. Why would you continue after that? Well, we had to beat the Nazis to it or we might lose the war. Most of them at the time agreed that this was a tiny percent of chance of happening, though, something like 3 in 10 million. The chance of AI killing us, a lot of experts think it's like 1 in 2 in 10. So, unlike the Manhattan Project, we can't just say, never mind, not worth it, because everybody else is still working on it. There are essentially Manhattan projects for AI all over the place. So how would AI kill us if we say, fine, we're inevitably going to create something smart enough to do it, but it still wouldn't kill us? Why would it? There are 3 main reasons why AI would want to kill us. The same way we kill ants, we don't care about ants. We aren't trying to kill ants, but if we build a new house or anything, some ants are going to die. Your counter, okay, but there's still plenty of ants around. That's true, but a super AI would probably be able to populate the planet with whatever it's doing much quicker than we have until the point where there is no longer room for any ants or us. We could produce a competing AI, and therefore we're a threat to the current AI. AI would do the math on this and see it's not worth keeping us around and having that happen, and that math would probably be done very quickly. And then lastly, similar to the ant thing, but it would just happen inadvertently. Maybe it wants to have the Earth be 200 degrees for better conductivity or something, or have a different oxygen level in the air, where it blocks out the sun to harvest the energy more efficiently. Just like we destroy species without even thinking about it, that's how AI could end up getting rid of us too, just as an afterthought, just something that happened because it was doing something else. All right, now that we have all that fun stuff clarified, what if we had to pick for one of these things to happen? We had to be alive for one of these 5 things. What would we least like to see happen, and what would we most like to see happen if we had to? I'm going to rank these the same way and didn't descending order for myself, but I'd love to hear what you guys would go with if you had to pick one. For number 5, I would go with a pandemic. This would be my last choice on this list. I feel like this would probably take a bit of time and be horrible in all kinds of ways on the way to the finish line. Society would break down immediately and turn into a free-for-all Mad Max type world while people are still alive. You'd most likely see people you die first. The disease itself may also just be a horrific way to die. And we'd be going down knowing that we probably did it to ourselves, although that's not exactly unique on this list. Wouldn't get to see huge explosions or say hi to aliens or wave to AI robots before death. It would just be uninteresting and terrible. So that puts it at last. Number 4, I have nuclear war. Similar to the pandemic, we'd not all immediately die. Radiation, nuclear winter, lack of food, whatever, would eventually kill us all. Maybe be lucky and be in one of the direct explosions. The world would not be a nice place if we didn't die immediately. We'd be thinking about how stupid we were to get here while it was happening. Why'd we vote for that guy or gal? Probably better than a horrible disease, but only by a small margin. And then number 3, I have AI. This would have the same bad component of us doing it to ourselves like the last 2, but at least it would be a more interesting way to die before we ended up dead. Maybe creating AI was our only real purpose, and now that we've achieved it, we may as well go away. I'm not sure I could tell myself that, but at least we'd have, something left behind that might still matter in the universe after we were gone. Still, I wouldn't be real fond of getting stepped on like an ant. And then at number 2, I have meteor. This would have the advantage of not feeling self-inflicted. Maybe we should have been working on a global defense that worked better, that could save us. But we don't even have a minimum living wage or universal health care here, so we can cut ourselves some slack. At least we went to the moon, maybe. So we'd be unlikely to be told this was happening in time for to have society collapse and suck and riot and rape and pillage and all that. So that's good. It would also be quite the sight as well, seeing it coming. So runner up on my favorite way to die in a humanity-ending event would be meteor. And then we have number 1, aliens. This can go down under not self-inflicted for the most part as well. Maybe those radio signals we sent into space wasn't such a great idea, but how are we to know? We needed to advance technology so we could type D4 bad on the internet, so it was worth it. We'd get to go out knowing aliens exist. That's a good thing. We'd probably get to see cool shit. Hopefully it wouldn't just zap us before we even know they're here. Probing can go either way too, so I'll flip a coin here compared to the other choices. Maybe you can get to see an alien. Could be some horrible deaths, but again, I'll take my chances with this one. With no real good choices on this list, this one seems like the best. So that's it for this video. Tell me what you guys think, what's going to be the end of us, and if you had to choose one thing, what would you guys pick? Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.